is all the sailing hydraulics.
Okay.
Principally all the sail controls, like the bang, the cunningham, the outhaul, the check stay, and then you've got, so these are all the mainsail controls. Then you've got the jib controls, the bottom of the jib, bottom of the genoa, and the jib tack, genoa staysail and the jib tack, and then this is for the jib leads and for the bobstay, for the bowsprit. So these are all the hydraulic functions that control the sails, and we control those either by pumping the handle, or there's a rotary pump, so you can engage the rotary pump like that, and when you turn the pedestal it pumps the hydraulic system.
Gotcha.
And you select that's what we call the sailing hydraulics.
Wow.
Yeah, so this pedestal,
Okay.
yeah, so this will either turn the winch if I have it there,
I did not
but if I engage that,
Okay.
I won't do it because it will pump.
Right.
That would pump on whichever I select. So, so that enables us to quickly adjust the hydraulics. So that's one sort of hydraulics.
Okay.
And,
Oh, thank you. A huge companion way. Wow.
and then the keel is a canting keel, so it cants to 40 degrees.
40,
You can see through this window, you can see the head of the keel. So it's hinged on the bottom of the boat, and there's a huge hydraulic ram on each side, which pulls the head. So it pulls and pushes the head of the hydraulic the keel. Yeah. And then you can see through this window, you can see the hydraulic ram on this side, and that's driven by the generator forwards.
And I would
Now I
imagine.
understand this, because when I went on Talia, this was all open,
Right.
and you had to kind of like jump into wells
Right,
to
yeah.
get over to the other side.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is the
Would you think that this is one of the weak points of the boat? Because I remember what Movistar, and that's all the sad story.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first generation of boats, they had a lot of problems with the keels, but we haven't had any problems since.
Okay.
I mean, this is solid carbon fibre bulkhead here.
Uh-huh.
But obviously, you've got all the mast loads in this bulkhead, all the keel loads here. So this is like the backbone of the boat, runs the length of the boat. So, so for sure, right here is where it's at. The mast is trying to get pushed through the bottom of the boat. The keel's trying to break the boat in half that way, and then you've got the compression trying to bend it like a banana. So everything is focused around this part of the boat.
Wow. Ian, you know what I wanted you to show me quickly?
Yeah.
You guys had did something amazing with boards. Did you?
With the what? Sorry.
That you guys took some carbon fiber boards and drill.
Yeah, we had to drill.
That was amazing. I was watching the video and I was stunned.
Yeah, so on this part of the boat here, you can actually see the extent of the repair here. But this whole area of the boat, from about here all the way back to here,
Wow.
this whole area basically delaminated. So this was stoved in by the waves. We were 1,700 miles from land. So this whole area became unstable. So we ended up having to capsize the boat, and then we drilled and bolted the core material back together. So the material's 45mm core.
That's the video that I was seeing when you guys were drilling
So that was all
the
here.
side of the
So
boat.
basically we drilled 32,
Oh
we
my.
put 32 bolts in through here. And that's now been repaired, and then we put this extra bulkhead in to support it, which you see as well on that side as well.
That's amazing, amazing.
And where's the dagger board? I mean, down here.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind climbing around a bit. This is the dagger board case here.
This is the dagger. Okay.
These are the bearings. So the dagger board slides up and down inside here.
Uh-huh.
You're right there, sorry.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
There's a mast on through the deck here. We've got a little load.
Guys, good?
These are the two dagger boards. This is the toilet.
Two dagger boards here.
One in here.
That's the head?
On the other side.
That's the head?
That's the head here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
Hold that, Fraser, mate. Okay, go for it, mate.
Oh my.
Wow.
this is what drives the keel system. So this is the brains, this is the PLC. This is a little 30 horsepower generator.
Uh-huh.
So from by the steering position.
Is it 30?
Yeah, so from the steering position I can start this diesel generator and then effectively engage the PLC. This drives the pump, hydraulic pump here.
Okay.
this is the manifold with the valves. So it does a load of series system checks, and then it pumps the hydraulic fuel, which is through here, 10,000 psi. And then that's an electric pump as well, so we can pump it with electric slowly, DC power, or use the generator. So we can count the keel in about 13 seconds from side to side when we tack.
Wow.
Or if we use the DC, it takes about a minute and a half.
I mean, where's the low
A little low, yeah. I mean, I think the maximum theoretical load any of the rams should see is I think it's 70 tons, but they're designed for 200 tons. So they're designed to take 3 times the load, and there's 2 of them. So effectively you've got 6 times the maximum theoretical load.
Wow.
But we have to do a test. Part of the safety test for the boats before the race is to cant the boat over on its side of the mast and then lift the keel all the way up and down using just one ram. So you have to pass that test before you can enter the race.
Really? At each leg?
No, just at the start, you just do it once. It's all a bit scary because it's when it's highly loaded. I mean, if these hoses, one of these ends blows off these hoses or something, it can kill someone if they're hit. You know, the pressure is so high, it makes hydraulic pipes.
And so theoretically, we just blow that lid right off. Somebody's standing in the right?
Anybody's on the way.
Yeah.
And the boat's split into 4 waterproof sections, yeah, so you've got that tight door there. So we're in to help you. Trash here, trash back here.
What is in there?
You can have a look if you want. There's just some hydraulic rams, bobstay, and just a load of rope systems. But essentially, you know, if you crash into something and the bow splits, you can shut that door and you can contain the leak to there. You just walk through a watertight door here, so you can contain it. So say you break the boat here, you can contain it within here.
Right.
And then there's one at the back where the rudders are. So the boat will divide into 4 watertight sections.
Wow.
We use this as a light air bunk. It's too rough up here when it's windy to sleep in this bunk. And we're here we just use the rabbit.
Who is this short?
The bunks are on the same side.
Yeah. There's someone at 18 will drive that, and then screws a little thing on it. Yeah, it's screwed on, and then someone, and then away and make it like 3 mil bendy size.
So there's 5 bunks. One up here, one here, one here, and then one aft up high.
Is it my imagination, Ian, or are they short?
No, not too bad.
No? I mean, don't you have to like, kind of crouch to get into these?
No, I mean,
You can stretch out entirely?
Yeah.
Or like
I'm
going for body heat
just
here?
over 6 foot.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, just. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always not a problem with the length. I mean, you normally have your kit bag in here as well.
Right.
Then you can use that as a pillar.
Wow.
And you pull it right up. Obviously when the boat's heeled over so you don't fall out.
Yep.
You come through the berths.
Yeah. I think the first time I flipped in one of those, I hit and smashed my head. It was
Yeah, I mean the problem is
pain
the
in the butt.
noise, especially if you're aft, because the winches are across on the deck right above you, so it's very, very noisy. So you have to sort of sleep with an iPod on or something to drown out that noise.
This is excellent. Everybody knows where everything is.
Yeah, that's for the safety equipment. And then every bag's got an inventory, and we're very specific about the weight of everything and what we take on each leg, and we buy into that. Then here this is the nav station here. So this seat actually clips on here, so we actually have a little seat here.
Okay.
There's only one computer here at the moment, but basically we have 2 laptops here. Everything's done. We have one for communication and weather, one for navigation. Got a radar here, instruments, VHF radio. But basically everything's here, and then this swings round when we tack, so the whole nav station goes to the other side of the boat. So you're always sitting to
Oh my.
So it's pretty basic, you know, and everything's just done by laptop. And then further aft, here if you can be bothered, we're all back here.
We need to have a tour. We can be bothered.
This is the media station here, so this is where
Ah.
our media man lives. So it's all switched off at the moment.
Is
But
this our media man?
it's not. No, this is Tim, our engineer.
Hello, Tim, our engineer.
Hey,
How
Tim.
are you?
He's the guy who has to keep all that keel system running.
Nice.
Aha.
You're an important guy, exactly.
Yeah, so this is, you know, so here he can control the onboard, the above deck cameras from down here with the joystick and buttons here. He does his editing on an Apple Mac, and he just has all his equipment stored here, and there's a hard drive in here and all the audio stuff. So we can do Skype video conferencing or audio interviews. We've got 2 satellite phones, one on either side.
When does he sleep? He doesn't have a backup.
No, he doesn't have a bunk either, because so he sleeps on a beanbag on the floor here, basically.
Wow.
And then in light winds he can jump in that bunk in the front.
Wow.
And then of course, we also have all the gear. It's windy, all the gear's stacked back here, and everything's stacked up to the roof underneath the bunk. So we call it the
Favela.
we call it the favela back here. It's all hot and sweaty and smelly back here, and there's never any room. And you can have to go back there, but you can just see through here. You can see the steering system. There's a water tank. That's a plunge. That's how you get the water into the water tank. And then this is a waterside door. So, for instance, Sanya on the Southern Ocean leg broke their rudder.
Yes.
Right.
And when they broke their rudder stop, they ripped a hole in the boat where the bearing is. There's no way you can fix that or plug that hole. So you just shut this, and effectively the aft tank becomes flooded. Then you contain it with this watertight door. That's reasonably common. That could happen, which is why we have this watertight door here.
What happened to Puma, the previous Volvo? Remember, she had to replace her rudder.
Yeah,
Was
they
it
broke
something?
their rudder, but they broke their rudder below the hull.
Gotcha.
So they didn't damage the hull.
Oh.
So they were able to kick the stumper rudder out and
Gotcha.
then refit another rudder. They did a great job doing it.
Wow.
And what Tim's just working on here is the leg that holds the propeller down.
Okay.
The engine, which is in front of the nav station, drives the prop shaft, this is the propeller basically sits in this.
How powerful is the engine?
It's 70 horsepower.
75
horsepower,
75, yeah.
Volvo Penta?
Yeah.
Of course, Volvo Ocean Racing.
So basically, once we start sailing, we pull the propeller up into the hull, and that seals the bottom of the hull, and then we have to put a tag on it to show the organisers that we're not cheating. So we send a photo of the tagged propeller, and then when we finish, they come and check that it's still tagged.
Right. Got it.
Otherwise, you can see all the linkages for the pedestal. These are the foot buttons here. So obviously, all this stuff's quite delicate, has to be finely tuned. But you can also see the real attention to detail in the construction of the boat, all the carbon work. And you mentioned the carbon panel that we cut up to fix the boat. That was actually the top of this safety box.
Oh, was it? Oh.
So you can see actually it's been replaced.
So I guess
we
just
cut this rectangle off here, and then we made a splint with this, which is what we bolted to the side of the boat.
so it's sort of like you decided which ones are the most, if I can say, useless
Yeah,
parts of the boat.
Yeah, this is just a safety box, just a watertight safety
Right,
box.
right.
It's sort of sacrificial, really.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Good excuse for spare parts.
Yeah, a bit more work for the boat builders to replace it.
Yeah.
That's right, they love working hard.
They do, they love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Ian, Green Dragon or Abu Dhabi? What's the differences? What's your your thoughts?
Same race result at the moment. I mean, this is a beautifully built boat. We spent a lot more time and effort building this boat. It's probably, I suspect it is one of, if it's not the best built boat, it's very close in the fleet. And we've got a better prepared, stronger team. But unfortunately, this race, the standard is very, very high. The last race there was a lot of weaker teams. There was some part-funded teams and teams with two boats. And whereas this race, really, there's just 5 fully cocked brand new teams, and then Sanya who have done some of the legs. So it's it's a much more brutal environment. You get a shade off the pace in this race and come last. Whereas in the last race, really there was only a couple of competitive teams and then everybody else. So.
But the amount of damages in this race is insane. I mean, like, it's so high. What's with this race comparing to the previous one? I mean,
there was a lot of damage in the previous race. I think.
It wasn't that much, yeah.
Well, there was. 3 boats retired from the Chinese leg. 2 boats had to be.
Oh
shipped
yeah,
to
yeah,
Brazil.
yeah.
There was a lot of damage on leg 2. Puma broke all their longitudinals. We broke our boom. Telefonica Black broke their barrel strip. So it's not like. I think the difference is that in this race we've broken some masts, which is really visible.
Right.
And you have to
Three
retire.
masts.
And there's been some damage where people have had to retire from legs. Whereas, normally there's a lot of damage, but quite often you don't hear about it. People still get to the finishing line. They don't want to talk about it too much.
Right.
So I'm not saying there's not been a lot of damage. There has been a lot of damage. I think we've probably had rougher sea state and more difficult conditions in this race in the Southern Ocean than previously.
Yes.
And I suspect the boats are faster, and I suspect we're pushing them harder. If I'm honest, the standard tyre, everyone, you can't relent 1 second, or else you just lose 10, 20 miles. So I think it's just that much more competitive, and then the boats are faster, stiffer, harder.
Isn't that kind of part of the course with carbon fiber?
Well,
Does
it
it
is
say
pretty
something about the
unforgiving.
mast? I mean, are we going to see a redesign
It's
on
bizarre
the
when we
mast?
don't break the boats. Like when the conditions, some of the conditions you sell these boats, you cannot believe that they don't break. You know, you're
Right.
jumping off waves, you can't even stand up down here. There's noises, crashes, but you think, how on earth
Yes.
can this boat stay in one piece?
Right.
So in many ways, you're not surprised they don't break more. Having said that, they're all designed for it, and they shouldn't break. So nobody wants to see any breakages. So it's there's, you always have with composites. There's always the risk of build quality issues. Some of those on the more prepared teams are flushed out before the start.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of things which we found during the race. Which, like, if we'd had more training time, you'd probably find them before the start. Like we pulled the bulkhead out of the bow coming out of Auckland. But yeah, I mean, ultimately the designers are all trying to design the boats as close to the edge as possible, as light as possible, and sometimes they push it too far.
Right.
So what does the import racing do to the boat? Because the legs are crazy short and the boats are crazy fast.
Yeah, well, it's just really hard. You haven't got many people. That's the
It's like,
problem.
put it up, take it down, turn around.
Normally on a 70-foot boat, you'd have 20 people. Yeah, we've got 10. And everything's designed for offshore.
Yeah.
So you don't have the line speed on the winches, and so it's really, really hard. Sails are heavier than import sails would be, and so it's a struggle. And sometimes I think, looking at the racing, you think, oh God, why are they taking so long to hoist the spinnaker? Why isn't the sailing better than this? But I think it's just because we're trying to do so much with so few people, such heavy big sails. It's a miracle we get around the tour.
Yeah. So you guys,
Go on deck, so
yes.
we don't die of heat exhaustion.
So 60% of the race is almost over. Just wanted to ask you, what's your plans, from now on, and who do you think is going to be, the ultimate boat? And what about you guys? What do you think, your plans, your goals?
We're not going to win the race now. We've our goal, our aim's got to be to try and get on the podium, as and when we can. We really want to get on the podium, at least one, maybe two offshore legs. We're doing really well import. We want to try and win the import series. We're only a point or two off that, so
indeed.
We've got a lot to fight for there. As for everybody else, I mean, with the exception of Puma's mast falling down, the 3 Grand K boats are basically on almost the same point. So I think it's going to be really close with those guys all the way to the finish. I suspect it won't be decided until the last leg, so that's really good for the race. And Camper sailing well. They've got a boat that's really good upwind, but they're not as good an all-round boat as the Grand K boats, which but they've done very, very well so far, and they've been minutes off of winning legs. So I suspect, and they're very strong import because they're such good upwind boats. I think we'll see them strong all the way to the finish as well.
So what is the weather? What's the forecast?
For Sunday we've got easterly trade winds on Sunday, so essentially we should be reaching up and then running around the top of a high pressure, and then that's a week away, so I can't really tell you after that because it's getting too far away still. Wind looks like we'll have reasonable wind for the weekend, so it should be a good show on Saturday and Sunday.
Should be great.
Well, I'm good, Ian. I mean,
all right.
Thanks so much
Good stuff.
Really?
for
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for the
You're
tour.
very, very